INST 222 video project by Brian Ferguson and Taylor McCormick. We chose the social media site Afropunk and looked at their Facebook page. They also have an Instagram and a Twitter with the username Afropunk, all lowercase letters. The current event that stuck out to us was headline, "Go Back to the Cotton Farm. 8-year-old hospitalized after brutal assault by white teen."
This story moves me, and I wanted to bring more attention to it. It is such a sad event when children can behave in such a discriminatory manner. A young boy, Jordan, who is only 8 years old, was on the playground with his sister Janiyah, who is only 4, when another elementary-age child started throwing mulch on them. Jordan asked the boy to stop, but then was attacked by the boy's older brother, who is 13. It was after school hours, and the children were simply waiting for their mother to pick them up for the day. There were no adults present. Jordan picked himself up from the ground and, rather than have a confrontation, walked away with his little sister. But no, the bullies wanted to keep on. They kept throwing mulch, but this time at the little girl. Jordan stepped in to defend his baby sister. At this point, another kid came up and told Jordan he needed to go back to the cotton farm. Jordan told him to quit being racist. I suppose this angered the bullies more because they body-slammed poor little Jordan and kept attacking him. At last, a 5th grader stepped in and took Jordan and his little sister into the school, where they found a teacher still in a classroom. This young child ended up with a broken arm and a concussion. He is missing school because of severe pain and ongoing headaches. Both of his parents work to try to make a living, and now they have to switch out, taking off to be with the child. These are only the physical wounds. I'm worried about the emotional wounds. My question is, what makes anyone behave this way, especially children? I stand firm that hate is learned. From who are they learning this hate? The whole ordeal is sickening to me and makes me so mad. In my mind, Jordan is a hero.
As always, the comments on a Facebook post can either be irrelevant and mean or respectful and worthwhile. Some of the comments that we noticed were, "Sometimes I wish I could do a miracle, but things never happen. This story was making me so sad. The teens who did this should be arrested for a few days. I send lots of kisses to Jordan and his sister from Germany to Louisiana. Whenever they will come to Germany, they are very welcome. God bless you." Another comment said, "This is horrible. He is very brave to stand up to these racist bullies. Good for him protecting his sister. Children mimic what they learn at home. Look long and hard in the mirror and make that change. Be kind, and your children will be too." Lastly, a comment said, "I am white. I didn't choose that. He is a black baby. He didn't choose that. Hate is unnecessary. No one black or white or brown, red, yellow deserves this. Please stop. You are ridiculous to think that color matters. You had no choice in your race, so stop being proud or hateful. Ignorant humans, this child did not deserve this." Everyone is going to have their own opinion towards anything, but it's nice to read some comments that understand the issue of racism and are willing to comment a positive outlook towards Jordan, who was bullied.
The event took place on a school playground in Geismar, Louisiana, shortly after school hours, as some of the children waited for their parents. This was the case for the 8-year-old and his younger sister. There were other kids around, but since it was after hours, there was not a teacher present. No other adults saw this altercation. However, there were cameras which are being reviewed.
Overall, this event has sparked outrage. Locally, the community in Louisiana has been deeply affected by this situation. Jordan and Janiyah's uncle set up a GoFundMe account that originally had the goal of $5,000, but has now reached an amazing high of $24,000 in just 4 days. Also, when the 5th grader stepped in to help get the bullies off of Jordan, we can see that there is still hope in the area and in that community.
Nationally, the GoFundMe is open to anyone and everyone to donate. The situation happened in Louisiana, but here we are in Texas hearing about it, especially in College Station doing a report over this situation. No telling where else this is happening.
Now for internationally, if we refer back to the first Facebook comment we discussed, we can see that this situation has been heard in Germany and is causing a big enough impact for this person to comment from overseas. This is a horrible event, but I can only hope it will raise awareness of the racism that some children have to face by bullies at such a young age. I would pick elementary school kids to talk about this event. I would read them the book We're Different, We're the Same, and We're All Wonderful by Sesame Street. This book talks about a diverse group of people and how even though we may have different noses or different hair types, we're all the same. These features all have the same purpose no matter what your skin color may be. In the event we chose, there were 2 different races being expressed in this event. I would inform the elementary students that even though you might think that words can be healed like a cut or scratch can, these words can last a lifetime. When the white child told the child of color, "You need to go back to the cotton farm," those words will now live with this child and his sister for the rest of their lives. Have you ever heard the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me"? Well, that is wrong. Personally, I know words can hurt me more than an injury. If we teach children at a young age how to properly deal with this situation, and that all people are the same no matter the size of their nose or the color of their skin.
The first hashtag we used is Black Lives Matter. The purpose of this hashtag is to bring awareness to the fact that all Black lives do matter. It started in 2013 relating to the death of Trayvon Martin, a black teen whose murderer was acquitted. It really caught on immediately and has become a movement rather than just a hashtag on Twitter. The impact of this hashtag has been amazing for the black community. No longer can they be ignored, and it seems this hashtag has given them more of a voice, which is a wonderful thing for the black community and all others who oppose to racism. This hashtag did impact me. I don't think anyone should be discriminated against just because of their skin color. Black lives are just as important as white lives, or Latino lives, or any other life. This hashtag serves as a reminder for those who choose to ignore this fact.
This hashtag has raised the most awareness for people of color. I firmly believe everyone is the same and no one should be treated differently because of their race. This hashtag impacted me because I have seen it on every social media, and the posts it is used on blow my mind that these incidents would even occur.
This hashtag has moved far beyond social media. It is not just about individual racism, but systematic and institutional racism as well. It shines a light on issues that unfortunately some people would just rather ignore. This group has become organized and is not only in the U.S. but is international. Also, Black Lives Matter activists played a key role in the presidential election this year, bringing more awareness to the African American community.
Our second hashtag is This Is Not Normal. The purpose of this hashtag is to denote happenings that are simply not normal. It focuses on happenings that are un-American and racist. The impact of this hashtag, This Is Not Normal, has really increased in its usage and helps bring awareness to discrimination and things that we should not tolerate or allow to happen.
The hashtag did impact me quite a bit. I love it because, to put it simply, these events that are occurring around us daily are not normal, and not one person should believe they are. We have to work together to make a change, and it will take more than one person. Some people live their life in the dark and are unaware of such happenings or simply choose to ignore them. The more we can bring them to the forefront, then the faster we can get everyone on board to end racism and discrimination.
I believe this hashtag is important because some people are being treated wrongly and are wondering how some people see that as normal. This impacts me because I honestly wonder how white people can be so racist and discriminative towards other race besides white. Making this hashtag popular can show people how some of their actions and comments are deemed unnecessary and not normal. This hashtag seems to be primarily on social media. With the presidential election, it has surfaced more in some news articles. I believe it is a strong statement and will continue to rise in popularity. Using what we have discussed in class, 2 definitions stood out to me from our textbook, Diversity Consciousness by Richard Butcher. Racism and discrimination. Both of these words relate to our current event. Racism could be defined by believing that one race is superior to another. I believe that the bully was a racist considering the way he treated Jordan and Janiyah. He told Jordan to go back to the cotton farm. It doesn't get more racist than that. Discrimination is defined by the denial of equal rights and opportunities to individuals and groups. I believe again that the bully was discriminating against Jordan and his younger sister by thinking he could throw mulch at another child just because of the color of his skin.
Throughout the semester, we have discussed white privilege. I believe this was an issue with the bully because it was apparent by the way he treated Jordan that he was never on the receiving end of being bullied because of the color of his skin. He wasn't being sensitive of the words he used and of his actions. He might think since he is white he has power and privilege over Jordan, which is a form of white privilege.
In the white fatigue article that we have been covering throughout the semester, racial battle fatigue stuck out to us after we came across our current event. Racial battle fatigue is the indication of stress African Americans exhibit while dealing with daily microaggressions from white people. The article also goes on to say that racial battle fatigue is experienced by all people of color and is response to white racism. In our current event, the saying by the white child, "You need to go back to the cotton farm," can be considered a microaggression because as a child of color, hearing that can cause many thoughts throughout his mind. He probably deals or battles with racial comments on top of what he experienced that day after school on the playground.
After reviewing my journal entries through the semester, I believe I've become more aware of white fatigue and issues of discrimination. I do not consider myself to be a racist, and I have family and friends of all races. With that being said, I do not think I understood just how much racism and discrimination exist in this world. I have only been exposed to it a few times in my life. I believe that I was naive about racism to an extent. I also admit I had never thought about institutional racism and how bad it is in our society. I have learned so much and feel more willing to educate others on these issues than ever before. I had never even heard of white fatigue until this class. I just assumed that since I didn't discriminate that most people were like me, but I now know that this is not true. I feel that as a teacher it is important to understand this and not just assume things as I did before this class. I do know that white fatigue exists now, and that it is up to all of us to do the work necessary to eliminate discrimination. It may not be a comfortable topic for some, but it is an important issue for all. I'm thankful I have this opportunity to do more to help others grow in understanding white fatigue and discrimination, just as I have this semester.
Before coming into this class, I thought I knew enough about diversity and racism to get me through. Boy, was I wrong. I suffered from white fatigue badly at the beginning of this class. I was disturbed how it all just came back down to the white people. White people this and white people that. However, I see it now. My white privilege has kept me from seeing the real problems in the world. I just went day by day living my life without some situations people of color experience. My journal entries were very vague at the beginning of the class because I knew if I did them, I would get all 20 participation points. But after doing 2 or 3 of them, I started to open up and actually understand how my white privilege has given me so much more than what people of color experience. Going into the teaching field, I will experience diversity around me, and I will notice it unlike I used to. I believe after this class, I have the basic knowledge I need to further my understanding for racism and diversity, and only hope to further this into my classroom.
I am hopeful and optimistic. I wonder how some people can be so mean. I hear the whispers in the wind. I see the clouds as they smile. I want a world full of peace. I am hopeful and optimistic. I pretend that I am speaking to millions. I feel the touch of the sun. I touch the softness in the air. I worry about the oppressed. I cry when I think about hurting children. I am hopeful and optimistic. I understand that God loves all. I say that heaven is real. I dream of a life full of love. I try to make others happy. I hope I can make a difference. I am hopeful and optimistic.
I am worried and disgusted. I wonder what goes through people's minds. I hear all the discrimination on the news. I see the riots on campus. I want to see the world come together. I am worried and disgusted. I pretend that everything will fix itself. I feel the tension around me. I touch the shoulders of the hurt. I worry that the world will only become worse. I cry about all the evil. I am worried and disgusted. I understand everything cannot be perfect. I say that everything is okay. I dream of unity. I try to understand each side. I hope they see the trouble they cause. I am worried and disgusted.